everybody. Welcome back to the Mysterious Pals. My name's Chris, and this week we got a brand new guest. His name's Jordan. Jordan, welcome back to the show.
First time.
Every time,
long time.
How you doing?
Good to be here.
Great. This year, we're going to be driving our ship right into the iceberg that we call a story or mystery. And I want to start out by asking you, did you enjoy the movie National Treasure?
Yeah.
Okay. So
Who didn't?
Well, I don't know. Maybe some people didn't. I liked it.
I like that. The second movie is good. Never watched the show.
We've talked about this before, and they're great movies. So we're going to talk about an American Treasure.
Nice.
Did you hear about this thing in France?
What thing in France?
This golden owl someone found in France after 31 years.
The golden owl?
Yeah, there was a treasure hunt for the last 31 years where this golden owl was hidden. And it was a bunch of like...
Wait, is it golden color or made of gold?
Yeah, some jackass just made it.
I don't know.
Spray painted something gold.
Could have been like a weird...
No, it was like actual treasure.
Okay.
And he hid it back in 1993. And then he put like all this like information, like puzzles out there. There was 11 of them. And someone found it recently. Like it's real. There's a lot of stuff like with like the guy went bankrupt or something, and like they took the rights to the owl because the actual owl wasn't buried, but like it was in a safety deposit box or something, and like a replica of it, so it was buried. Yeah, there's also one. Okay. There's also a treasure hunt going on in New England right now in America. I don't know if that one got solved yet, but it's like a thing that they took. Someone planted somewhere and they took pictures of it and said, if you can find it, it's yours. It's like this golden thing. Anyway, This thing we're talking about, I guess it's like the value of the owl is worth 150,000 euros.
Yeah.
I don't know. What's the C with two lines? Is that pounds or euros?
C with two lines?
Yeah. Like a C with two lines.
Pounds is the like backwards looking.
Okay, so 126,000 pounds.
Okay.
And this must be euros. 150,000 euros. So someone found it. Someone liberated, they say. And the people can stop looking for it.
But wait, when did this happen?
1993, they buried it.
When did someone find it?
Like the last 2 weeks.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. The October 3rd, this was posted.
Did they get to keep it?
Yeah. They get the money. They get like yes, they get the thing.
Huh. Would you keep something like that?
No, hell no. I sell that shit.
Sell it, yeah.
Yeah, right away.
How would you go about selling something like that? Do you have to go to like an auction?
Probably.
Yeah.
eBay.
I meant like like an actual like,
I mean, you probably get the
auction house.
I don't know. Probably.
So they would get like a significant cut of that.
I mean, you could probably just sell it for, the gold.
Yeah.
Have it like melted down, maybe. I don't know. Never really thought about it. Never found gold.
So we're
going to talk about.
We're doing this.
Yeah. And found gold in my friendship. That's all I found gold of. Yeah, probably.
Yeah, sure.
You say so. Uh-huh. Anyway, the story revolves around a fortune of gold, silver, and jewels. That's our story we're talking about. Our story revolves around that. Supposedly buried in the hills of Bedford County, Virginia, by a man named Thomas Beale. So we're going to talk about the Beale Papers.
Okay.
Or also known as the Beale Ciphers.
Yep.
So the supposed location of the treasure can only be deciphered through 3 encoded texts, two of which remain unbroken.
Oh, okay. I thought two have been.
No,
broken.
only one has been solved. Two remain unsolved.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. Have you heard about these things before?
I feel like I have. So I'm getting this confused because there's a guy who wrote a book from the 80s or 70s, I think. And he had a go on.
Mm-hmm.
He wrote a book, and he had apparently the if you found this
Forrest Fenn's treasure that was just found recently too.
Is that what it was?
Last year.
Damn.
Yeah.
All right. That was found?
Oh yeah, like last year.
Oh, cool.
Forrest Fenn's treasure. Yep. That was like in the Rocky Mountains or something.
Okay. And then there was a CIA thing. Like an artist did this installation. The CIA, like on like their wall, was all like encoded, and only like half of it's I think it's been decoded.
Was that the thing where there's like a bunch of buried things all over the United States?
No, that was the other thing that you just mentioned.
No, there's actually other things buried around the United States. There's like 9 of them, and there's a book that has like 9 different posters or 9 different paintings, and they're like, if you solve the painting, you can dig up the thing, and it's like some kind of treasure. It's not really that big of a deal, I don't think, but it's only been like 3 of them been found.
Okay.
They are real.
All right, go on. I'm gonna look for this thing, the CIA thing. I'm trying to figure out here.
Okay. Thank you.
It's called the crypto sculpture.
I'm sure it's not. Crypto sculpture. It's CIA.
Yeah.
Is it like actual thing?
Yeah.
You think it's just like a urban legend?
No, it's an actual thing. So they commissioned this guy to do a sculpture at the CIA headquarters, and only part of it's been solved, which is interesting because it's the CIA, like they're intelligence people.
It's like that bees thing. I love bees.
Bees knees?
No.
Oh, bees.
Yeah, maybe it's Cicada 1310 or something. I don't know.
Oh yeah,
Cicada, whatever. Yeah, and there's one called I Love Bees too. They're basically just like, I think they figured out they were just like tests for people that be hired, like a cybersecurity thing or something, or CIA.
Yep.
Anyway, we're getting off topic as we always do, but we are talking about cryptography. So, in cryptography, a ciphertext is the result of an encryption performed on plain text using an algorithm called a cipher. So these are the Beale Ciphers. So there's 3 things, and we're going to go into what they are. One of them has been solved, but no one can figure out what the other 2 are. Okay. The first one was solved, and I think the second one was solved. Anyway, so this is all according to a pamphlet.
Pamphlet.
We talked about a pamphlet in one of the last episodes.
We did, yeah.
Why?
With the Werewolf of Bedford.
Yes, a pamphlet. Yeah. So this is a pamphlet published in 1885 by a man named James Ward. So the story goes, in January 1820, a mysterious man named Thomas Beale, or Thomas J. Beale, arrived in Lynchburg, Virginia.
Okay.
He checked into the Washington Hotel, which was owned by Robert Morris. So Beale was described as a tall, handsome man with dark complexion, likely due to the extensive exposure to the sun. And that's key to our story here tonight. During his time in town, he became popular with the townsfolk. Despite his popularity, Beale remained secretive about his background, his family, and his purpose for visit. So he just showed up. No one really knew why, but he became popular with the town in the few months he was there.
Yeah.
At the end of March, so he arrived in January, end of March, he left abruptly and without providing any explanation for his departure, why he's departing, where he's going, anything. He just leaves.
So no one knew this guy's background.
No, he just showed up, stayed in a hotel for 3 months, and then left. 2 years later, though, this guy comes walking back in to the Washington Hotel. 2 years later, he returned to Lynchburg, once again checking into the Washington Hotel. He spent the winter in town, just as he had done during the first visit. So around the same time, January to March. Before leaving in the spring, Beale entrusted Morris with a locked iron box, claiming it contained important papers. So we're not talking about like a treasure chest. We're talking about something small.
Locked
papers.
box.
Yeah, but a locked box could probably be, some could say it might be bigger, but this is just small. This is like something you can hide papers in. Folded probably too. Like it's just a small boy. He instructed Morris to keep the box safe and promised he would return for it.
Yeah.
Some sources have said that Beale also left a letter with Morris instructing him to open the box if he did not return within 10 years, which sounds a little weird.
A long time.
Especially back then.
Yeah.
It took like 5 years to get across the country, especially when we found out where this guy's going. So in 1822, Beale sent Morris a letter from St. Louis, though. So let's just step back for a minute.
So we're in Virginia.
1820, sorry. Beale shows up January of 1820. He leaves in March of 1820.
Mm-hmm.
2 years later, so that'll be 22.
Mm-hmm.
He shows back up in winter, they say. And he leaves this box with Morris at the Washington Hotel.
And so is Morris the proprietor of the... Okay.
Yes. It's his hotel. Later that year, in 1822, it's supposed there's like, obviously with a treasure hunt, there's going to be conflicting reports. There's not a lot of research done out there about this, but there's a lot of hoaxes. Like if you go on Reddit right now and look up this, there's so much crap out there.
Yeah.
It's just crazy. Go on the internet, look us up.
As with any like treasure
Yeah.
thing. Yeah.
So in 1822, supposedly, he sent a letter from St. Louis assuring him that he was well and he would be heard from again.
Sounds suspicious.
But then he wasn't heard from again. Okay. So that was 1822. Remember the original letter, supposedly he left to, in 10 years, if I'm not back, you can open the box. So Morris waited for 20 years,
Jeez.
supposedly, before he finally opened the box in 1845.
Okay.
Which would technically be 22 years or so. 23 years. So 23 years after Beale's visit, Morris, driven by curiosity and assuming Beale was dead, decided to open the box. Again, it's the 1800s.
That's a lot of patience on his part. I would have been like, 10 years now, open it.
Well, if that even was the case, did he actually say that? So like, we don't know. The pamphlet said that,
Okay.
but we don't know. And the pamphlet was published in 1885.
Well, that's way long after.
Yeah, and supposedly this took place in 1820. Okay. So supposedly he opened it in 1845. Thomas Beale did. You figured he's probably, getting old.
Oh, yeah.
Especially that time. You're dead when you're 26. So inside the box, he found a note from Beale and 3 sheets filled with numbers. The note revealed that Beale and 29 others had embarked on a journey across America in April 1817.
Okay.
They traveled through the Western Plains, eventually arriving in Santa Fe before heading north in search of buffalo and grizzlies. They're hunting. During their journey, I'm guessing they're probably doing fur stuff, gathering furs.
Yeah.
Yeah. During their journey, they discovered a rich deposit of gold and silver in a small ravine. Starting to sound like the Dutchman's gold mine, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yep. Beale's note explained that he and his men mined the site for the next 18 months, accumulating a large amount of gold and silver. High quality gold and silver, too. They decided to transport their wealth back to Virginia for safekeeping. There's a lot of research, there's a lot of speculation out there and research on
why Virginia though?
Well, because they're trying to figure out. I don't know that. We'll get into that, but we don't really know who Beale actually was. Thomas Beale. It may have been a pseudonym.
Sure.
It may have been a real person.
Yeah, if you have that much gold with him, might not want to give his actual name.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe. But also, when you find out what this is about, maybe it makes sense for him to give his name. Anyway, we'll get into it. So they mined the site. They decided to transport it back to Virginia. To reduce the weight, Beale traded some of the gold and silver for jewels. So it was gold, silver, and jewels now. And in 1820, he traveled to Lynchburg, found a suitable location, and buried the treasure. So in 1820, supposedly he went back. Okay, that's when he stayed at the Washington Hotel. During that time, whenever that was going on.
Yeah.
This is when he met Morris, obviously. Morris was the guy who owned the hotel.
Mm-hmm.
When Beale left Lynchburg at the end of the winter, he rejoined his men who had continued to work in mine in his absence. After another 18 months, Beale revisited Lynchburg with even more treasure and added it to the stash. This time, there was an additional reason for his trip. His companions were concerned that in case of an accident to them, like the whole party, there would be no way for anyone to actually find the treasure, and they wanted it to be returned to their families. They wanted hey, if we do all die, we need to make sure this makes it to our families.
Fail safe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because if not, no one's going to find it, supposedly. So Beale was instructed to find a reliable person he could trust to carry out these steps of getting the gold to their relatives in the case of their death.
Okay.
So he trusted Morris, this guy that owned the hotel.
Who doesn't know?
But maybe
kind of knows.
He stayed there for 3 months.
Yeah.
So you got to know him. Because I guess in the 1800s, it's probably we talk about a hotel. It's not like the Howard Johnsons. We're like
Hojos.
Yeah. This is the guy that owned the hotel was probably the guy who also ran the bar.
Right. Yeah. The
Cooked the
hotel's
food,
above the bar.
Yeah. So after reading this information on this letter, Morris felt a deep sense of responsibility to find the treasure and pass it on to his relatives of this presumably dead man. Right. So
that's nice of him.
Yeah. I'm sure that was his driving force.
Yeah. He's probably I tried to find them, but couldn't find them.
So I guess I had to keep all the gold.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, there was a significant problem, as you could guess. The description of the treasure, its location, and a list of relatives had been encrypted into the 3 sheets of numbers. So in order for him to find out this information, which...
You're to break the code.
But if Beale was if they're so worried about this, why would they give him the key to the cipher?
Right. Or give it to a family member.
Maybe they did. Family member died or something. Like, it's like a lot of directions this could go.
It just seems very
convenient.
Yeah. Convenient that this guy has this. He's only known Beale a few months out of the year, a few times. He has this treasure.
Well, it seems like all Beale's friends are on the trip with him.
Yeah.
But why wouldn't Beale give it to his mom or something?
Yeah, actual family member.
Yeah.
He's awfully fortuitous.
What does that mean?
Fortunate.
Oh.
I don't even know if I use that right.
I thought it was a fortress.
I don't think I used that right. It's just weird that this guy, he's not necessarily a stranger, but like not a family member.
Yeah, why would he
this fortune or possibly key to the fortune?
Right. And so supposedly people have tried to track down who Beale actually was. Some say he was from New Orleans. Some people say it wasn't a real person. Like his name wasn't real. And people, they said they found the guy and there was no records of where he went or anything. But anyway, we'll get into all that in a second here. Let's talk about what happened after he read the note. Beale's note mentioned that the key to required to decipher the sheets would be posted to Morris by a third party. But that never happened, obviously.
By a third party.
Yeah, so someone else so basically supposedly, the story goes, Beale gave him the ciphers, gave someone else the key.
Okay. All right.
And then after 23 years, but it's probably after 10, the guy was like, where's this person at telling me I have the key. Where's he at?
Yeah.
Like, he obviously, if that was the case, Morris really jacked this up.
Yeah, who would have been that person?
I don't know.
State lawyer?
It seems like they would know each other at that point. They're like, the lawyer would have came down 10 years and been like, look, dude, we got to get this gold.
Yeah, I got to get paid.
Yeah. So, as a result of this key not being delivered, Morris was forced to attempt to unscramble the 3 sheets from scratch. This task occupied his mind for the next 20 years, but he never deciphered them. So in 1862, at the age of 84, Morris realized that he was nearing the end of his life, which that's pretty old in the 1800s.
Yeah.
That guy got it through it.
Yeah. Did something right.
So he realized that he had to share the secrets of the ciphers with someone else, which...
That would have been hard to do.
Otherwise, because if someone said that to me, I'd be like, shut up. Get the hell out of here.
Yeah.
Go hang out in that tree in my yard. Like
go in that hole in my tree.
The LaBelle woman from the last episode.
LaBelle?
Lubelle.
Lubelle.
Go listen to that. So Morris confided in a friend, supposedly, but the identity of the person remains a mystery to this day. Okay, so Morris gave the information and the ciphers and everything to another person, a friend. The only thing that are known about Morris's friend, however, is that he published a pamphlet that contained the entire Beale story, including the Beale ciphers and Morris's account of the events. And the anonymous pamphleteer made the first breakthrough in deciphering one of the Beale's papers.
Why would he publish that?
Because the other ones, he needed the other ones to be solved.
You're losing your cut, I feel like, by doing that. Otherwise, I'm making it, do it because otherwise we've got nothing.
So I think the idea was this unknown person either was Ward or was the other guy was old too and was just like,
let's figure this out.
Figure this out for me. I'm done.
I'm dying.
Yeah. There's cholera or something in the water. What are they? I don't know.
Whatever one of those Oregon Trail diseases were.
Yeah. Dysentery. So when they published the pamphlet, he titled it The Beale Papers, which contain the story and the treasure and 2 of the 3 ciphers.
Only contained 2 of them. Go to 3?
Because those ones weren't solved. Supposedly they solved one. The Beale ciphers consist of 3 ciphertexts labeled as Cipher 1, Cipher 2, and Cipher 3. The second cipher, often referred as Cipher 2, convenient,
that checks out,
has been decoded while the other two remain unsolved, obviously. Cipher 1, okay, is believed to describe the exact location of the treasure. This cipher is composed of numbers separated by commas. Each number supposedly corresponds to a word in specific text, but the key to the text is unknown.
1, 2, 3, 4 can mean this word, but they don't actually have the key to it, like with those.
Right.
Yeah, okay.
But as we see in the next one, they have to find out what the original text was, and they can go through and be like, right, number 22 is this word.
Like similar.
The first letter.
Context clues.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The first letter in this word is this. And so they did that with the second cipher.
Okay.
The cipher, the only one that has been successfully solved, reveals the contents of the treasure.
Wait, they use...
So in this case, they used the Declaration of Independence
Uh,
to solve the second cipher, which included everything in it. It was an inventory of
how did they know to use the Declaration of Independence for that?
Well, if you wait a second, I'll get there.
All right.
The key to the cipher was found in the Declaration of Independence, as I just said, by matching each number of the corresponding word to the declaration and then selecting the first letter of the word, it deciphered the message.
Jeez, how do you even figure that out?
The coded text reads as follows. But if you believe this is a real story.
Right. Yeah, okay, yeah. Fair enough.
But also one of the most famous things at the time.
Sure. Yeah.
This is the concept here is like this person, in the case it might have been Ward, it might have been the guy before him, it might have been Morris, took like, it wasn't Morris because he died before any of them were solved. The second guy, he took documents, famous books, and like matched them up.
That's what I'm saying. Like that's a lot of work.
And then got a lot of letters
That's
and then said like, do these make sense if I use this document? Yes
Yeah.
or no? He went to the Declaration of Independence. It worked.
It's crazy, man.
And this is what it says. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Cipher 2 says, supposedly, quote, I have deposited in the county of Bedford, about 4 miles from Beaufort's, in an excavation or vault, 6 feet below the surface of the ground, the following articles belonging jointly to the parties whose names are given in number 3. Herewith. The first deposit consisted of 214 pounds of gold
Whoa.
and 3,812 pounds of silver.
What?
Deposited November 1819. The second was made December 1821 and consisted of 1,907 pounds of gold, 1,288 pounds of silver. Also, jewels obtained in St. Louis in exchange to save transportation and valued at $13,000.
A lot of cheddar. So just those jewels attained in
St. Louis
were just $13,000.
They took gold and traded them for jewels because it was lighter to carry.
It's like, what's that worth?
In like today's money?
Yeah. But like all that pounds of gold, all the pounds of silver, that's insane.
Yeah, it'd be probably worth millions, tens of millions
I
maybe.
would assume so, yeah.
So Cipher 3 is thought to contain the names and addresses of 30 adventurers entitled to the treasure. Like Cipher
Those who
1.
took part in finding
Right.
it. Yeah.
And their families, I guess.
Okay.
It remains unsolved and is key to the solution is unknown. So they don't know what matches up with that.
Any idea of like what could possibly be on part 1 of the?
Well, they said part 1 is part 1's the believed to describe the exact location.
Okay.
And that was so the letter explained what was in each cipher, supposedly.
Right. Okay, that's right.
The letter
right.
he wrote
Okay,
to Morris said, this is what's in here, this is what's in here, this is what's in here. Or what each one was. But he didn't give him the key.
Yeah. The key apparently for 2 was the Declaration of Independence.
Yes. So I think obviously,
Was this part of the movie?
no.
Okay.
In the movie, they did use Declaration of Independence, but it was this, I tried to see if there's like any correlation between like, this is how the movie, like it was the, Silence Do Good letters. That's what they used in the film. They decipher, use the key to decipher a book cipher, also known as the whatever, on the back of the U.S. Declaration of Independence. The Silence Do Good letters were the key for the thing that was written on the back of the Declaration of Independence.
Okay.
Oh, Benjamin Franklin used the pen name Silence Do Good. That was like the thing he used when he did his pamphlets or his long papers.
Yep.
Yep. Let's go back to look at attempts to crack the code. What are you thinking now, though? Let me get your taste. Is this real or fake? What does it taste like?
It seems like the whole story of how this guy got this box, and like the fact that no one really knows who this Beale character is, it seems kind of like iffy. Too good to be true kind of thing. Almost like a hoax like.
Yeah, I was thinking like...
Oh, how would that benefit?
Exactly.
How would that benefit him by doing this? The
Right, like-
Morris guy.
I would think that it was like I would have thought that it was used to try to make like his hotel
Sure, yeah.
bigger.
Yeah.
You know, or like a way to get people to come
This
to
is
his
the
hotel.
spot where I met Beale, the famous.
Yeah, but it doesn't seem like he did that because he just gave him away.
Yeah.
And he hit him and he held on to
He
him.
also waited 20 years,
Yeah.
20 plus years.
So by that time, I mean, he probably was like coming to the end of his career anyway.
Yeah. That was, he said he's like 80 something at that point, right?
No, he gave them over when he was in the 80s,
Okay.
but he didn't open the box for 23 years.
Right.
Because unless he was like made it up in that 23 years into his, his career, being like, I got to get this place sold. Let me get these letters in here. But that seems like he had a good idea. I don't know. It seems weird.
I feel like if that was the case, he would have taken more advantage of that to prop up his business.
I would think so. But again, I wasn't alive then.
Yeah.
So I don't know what was going on. Maybe he had it on everything. It's like the story of if you've ever heard a story about the Curse of Oak Island, like the Oak Island legend, and like there was this stone they found, and then like a book person bought it, and like basically the stone, this like the keystone or something that said stuff on it, was like lost, and it was. I think they found that like it was pretty much just used as a guy to put in the window of a store to get people to go into a store. But like they never really knew if it was real or not.
Okay.
And I don't think they could ever find it. So I don't know. Anyway. So since the publication in 1885 of this pamphlet, a bunch of people tried to crack the code. Cartographers, treasure hunters, amateur enthusiasts, even professional code breakers devoted a significant amount of time to solving the mystery, but Cipher 1 and Cipher 2 remained unsolved. One of the most famous attempts to crack the code in the early 20th century was a mathematician named Francis Bacon.
Oh, wait. He did some significant stuff, didn't he?
I don't know. Did he invent bacon? That'd be pretty significant.
Yeah. Real cool guy if he did that.
I mean, like you thinking like the guy, like a historian, or like he did a bunch of. I guess this guy's a mathematician.
Is this one of those Renaissance guys? No, this is after the Renaissance. One of those guys who's like, I'm a lawyer, I'm a doctor, I'm an artist, I'm a poet.
He's basically just bored. Yeah. I don't know. Francis Bacon sounds important.
Former Lord High Chancellor of Great Britain. Oh, that's 1500s. Never mind.
Probably that's Francis Bacon you're thinking of. This is a different Francis Bacon.
Right.
This is like
Any relation?
I don't know. So anyway, this guy Francis Bacon supposedly he suggests the ciphers might be based on a book, a method which numbers and correspond to words in a specific book or text, just like the other one.
Yeah.
So
Codex kind of thing.
Yeah, since it was used for the first one, that they're like, what other things was significant at this time that they could use? But I'm wondering, when this guy wrote this, he's all the way in Santa Fe, or like maybe he's in Virginia. Did they just make copies of the Declaration and just give it out? I mean, was this readily available that he could use as an actual thing to set it up?
Like set up a wait, say it again?
Was the Declaration of Independence like readily available to people?
I would assume so, yeah.
Okay.
It'd at least be in like courthouses.
Okay. So you could go and find it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's the story.
Okay.
There was some other stuff like I don't even know.
Wait. Yes, we want to think. So at this point, and obviously you know more of this, but like when you're reading this and looking at this, what did you think at this point? Like, did this seem like?
I mean, I thought it was going to be something the guy used to prop up his business.
Yeah,
but I don't know if that's true.
Because that was my initial thought. But like it could also be like this, kind of like a legend kind of thing, where there could be some truth to this, but like it gets blown out of proportion over time.
Okay.
Like the myth becomes even bigger. It gets expanded upon. The amount of money or wealth that was like could have been attached to this lockbox could have been exaggerated. Because originally it could have been like, hey, we found like, a gold deposit.
A gold nugget.
Yeah. We think we struck a gold vein.
Yeah. So
And
there's
there's only like 5 of us, not 30 people that are involved in this. He's like, you're the innkeeper. You know me for a couple months. I can't really trust anyone else out here. This is the information for it. Just keep it locked. Give it 10 years. You don't hear from me. And over time, it could be exaggerated because it was 20 something years by the time he decided to I'm going to look into this now.
right, 23 years.
Yeah. So you could have been like 23 years. In that time, he could have been telling the story about this. The guy that owned the hotel, not necessarily to push his business, but just talking to patrons or friends of his. It could have been kept building upon the lore of this, the legend or the myth of it could have kept growing to a point after 20 something years.
So there is this new entry in Wikipedia for this page, and I've been researching my butt off trying to figure out what the hell this is relating to because it's right at the top of the page. It has a reference to an article in Popular Mechanics, December 2024, which I don't know if it'll be out yet. Yeah. So maybe it's coming out, but I can't find the actual article. I can find the author on the Popular Mechanics website. I can't find his actual article they're talking about. But here's what it says. It says that supposedly, again, this is all, I have no idea. I can't find the actual data to back this up. So in 2023, a cartographer named James Simpson from Princeton, New Jersey, cracked the Beale ciphers using an ascending series of 111 alphabets, climbing the number of 2,906, with the use of substitution cipher technique that followed the Old English box ciphers. Anyway, the ciphers held a secondary layer within each of the served as maps to locations of the gold mine and their buried cache of 44 caliber pistols and 807 Saris rifles, as well as 2 locations of the depositors near Bedford, Virginia. The ciphers also detailed the names of James Revis and Jacob Waltz, 2 of the men we talked about before. Could you know which? I even mentioned it before.
That the gold, the other gold thing you're talking about?
It was called the
Day.
The Lost Dutchman mine.
Yes.
The Para Alta team people.
Yeah, didn't they get in some trouble though? Weren't they kind of considered frauds or something like that? Didn't something happen with them? No, that was.
You have to go watch the episode to find out.
That was the Cambyses thing.
Yeah,
the French guys.
Yeah, those guys.
Yeah.
Yes, Italian, I believe.
So these guys also have a connection to the Lost Dutchman's treasure.
Supposedly. Maybe it's the same treasure.
What was that? About to ask that. The possible.
I don't know. So
because wasn't the Lost Dutchman is an elderly man, he's dying, he's tells his
neighbor
who's taking care of him, hey, there's this treasure.
Here's my map.
Yeah.
Yeah. 2 of the men behind the Peralta land grab from the same time period as members of the Knights of the Golden Circle under the employ
Indiana Jones stuff.
Under the employ of J.P. Morgan.
Oh, wow.
The ciphers were found to be authentic and were featured in a Popular Mechanics article about the search for the buried cache in Virginia, with a number of correlating leads research with Ken Bowen, who was featured in the Brad Meltzer show Decoded on History Channel, as well as added the article's investigation and the mystery behind the Beale ciphers.
I do remember that Decoded show.
Yeah, but and I know that there's other. Josh Gates went on looking for this thing. I know there was an episode in the Decoded show, but
that's so again that goes back to the fact that this might have ties to the Flying Dutchman thing. It start with something very small, something truthful.
Flying Dutchman.
Sorry, the Flying Dutchman.
The Lost Dutchman.
Wait, I said the Lost Dutchman, didn't I?
No, you said the Flying Dutchman. It's twice. That's the boat.
Yeah, you're right. Sorry. That's Pirates of the Caribbean. Like I said earlier, with the idea of how the Beale guy came to, was it Morris?
Yes. The Washington Hotel.
Yes. It could have been something actual, something that really happened. Hey, me and a couple buddies found this gold mine, and this is some of the gold we got from it. A couple nuggets. It could not, it might have been blown out of proportion over the years, especially since this guy waited 23 years to actually open or try and figure out what this was. he had been talking to people in town about it. Like, hey, this guy gave me some gold, and it gets passed along. Like, he gave him a telephone, it gets more and more exaggerated, or the wrong information gets out. That kind of makes sense that it might be attached to possibly the Lost Dutchman's thing, because even though those are very different areas, because it's Virginia and then Lost Dutchman was in
New Mexico.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because these guys were supposedly in Santa Fe.
Yeah, exactly. And word could spread.
And maybe the Lost Dutchman mine is actually in Lynchburg, Virginia.
Maybe, or vice versa.
So I did mention the Knights of the Golden Circle. Do you know who they are?
No.
So I didn't.
Was that in the Did you mention that in the Lost Dutchman episode?
I can't remember. I don't think so.
Okay.
But they were a secret society founded in 1854 in America. They wanted to create a new country known as the Golden Circle, which was slavery would be legal.
Oh, jeez. Okay.
The country would have been centered in Havana. It would have consisted of southern United States and a golden circle of territories in Mexico, which would have been divided into 25 new slave states: Central America, northern parts of South America, and Cuba, Haiti, Dominican Republic, and most islands in the Caribbean, about 2,400 miles in diameter. So it was like down into northern South America, up through up through all those islands, to Florida, up to like basically Virginia, and then down, like including Texas and Mexico. The Golden Circle. So the Beale Ciphers. You want to go into some theories?
Yeah.
There's only a few, because there really are. Was it real or not? Anyway, let's talk about.
Do you think it's real?
I didn't think
I mean, you already know, like, you saw some of these theories, but
I want to think that the Forrest Fenn. I didn't think the Forrest Fenn treasure was real, but that was real. I don't know, because like I said, there's other hunts going on right now in America.
Yeah,
there's that one in New England, which is basically some guy took a picture and said, "Find this golden friggin' thing." So I don't know. Maybe there's been plenty of crap found out there. Maybe treasure back in the 1800s is different than treasure now. Like in that one thing that I read from the Popular Mechanics magazine, they said 44 caches of 44 caliber pistols and 807 rifles.
And that's worth some money.
But was that important? I mean,
but that's also, they also mentioned like hundreds and hundreds of pounds of gold and silver as well.
Well, no, not in the
Popular Mechanics thing, didn't they?
Maybe. Oh yeah. So Ciphers held second layer, which served as applications of the gold mines, and their buried caches of pistols, rifles, and it didn't really say.
I thought you said they're like silver deposits for silver and gold. Even like guns would be worth some stuff too.
Yeah, especially if the Knights of the Golden Circle were trying to take over.
Yeah.
So
hey, these guns.
That's where it gets really weird. I'll start with the Knights of the Golden Circle theory. Some theorists link the Beale Ciphers to the Knights of the Golden Circle, a secret society that existed in the 19th century. The Golden Circle was rumored to have hidden caches of gold and silver to fund the Second World War. Or Second Civil War, sorry.
Oh, jeez. Like,
Second Civil War.
Wait, were
Civil War II, if you will.
Were the Knights of the Golden Circle a real thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Supposedly.
All right.
I mean,
they're a real organization.
It's founded in 1854 by American George Bickley.
So they're a real thing, but they possibly are wrapped up in this whole thing. Okay.
Yeah, it was just a group. Yeah, they had like a seal of the president and everything.
Well, sounds like they failed, so that's good.
I mean, the flag looks, flag of the Knights of the Golden Circle. Dissolved in 1863. Started in 9 years. It was a paramilitary group. So headquarters were Cincinnati, Ohio.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's weird.
All right. We should drive through there sometime and check it out. Wonder if it's still around. Anyway. All right. So that's the first thing, that it was the Beale story was real and that this was caches for their uprising.
Yeah. So Beale was part of the Golden Circle then?
I don't think it really says.
Okay. Or they just knew about it and like, we're going to use this to our advantage.
Well, I think it was, this is kind of the research says like this could have been, he could have been that.
Okay. Yeah. His like elusiveness, the fact that not much is known about him makes me suspicious. But then again, like if you had that much wealth, like wouldn't you want to be that elusive?
So I guess there was some research done by a couple different people. And it says that in 1810, census records showed 2 persons named Thomas Beale in Cincinnati and New Hampshire.
Okay.
However, schedules from 1810 are completely missing for 7 states, 1 territory, the District of Columbia, and 18 of the counties in Virginia. The 1820 census has 2 persons named Thomas Beale. Captain Thomas Beale of the Battle of New Orleans in 1815 in Louisiana, originally from Virginia.
I mean, there's some connections there, connecting the dots. Cincinnati, Virginia.
He was from the Fincastle area, which is 12 miles from Bedford County, and 1 in Tennessee, and a Thomas K. Beale in Virginia. But the population schedules are completely missing for 3 states and 1 territory. So bad record keeping. Before 1850, the U.S. Census record, the names of only the heads of households other than households were only counted. Beale, if he existed, may have been living in someone else's household. In addition, a man named Thomas Beale appears in the customer list of St. Louis Post Department in 1820.
So wasn't this supposed the last letter written from St. Louis from Beale?
According to the pamphlet, Beale sent a letter from St. Louis in 1822.
Morris.
Yep. Additionally, a Cheyenne legend exists about gold and silver being taken from the west and buried in the mountains in the east, dating roughly 1820.
It was taken from the west, brought to the east. Wasn't there well, I know it wasn't Cheyenne, but wasn't there a story with the lost Dutchman's treasure as far as Native Americans?
Yes.
And they were like thought of what was going on in that area in New Mexico? New Mexico or was it Arizona?
Yeah.
New Mexico. Okay.
I think it was New Mexico. Simon Singe, the code book talks about this stuff. And that's like a general science of secrecy from ancient Egypt to quantum cryptology. So, yeah. So I guess there's a lot of questions of if he was actually real. And
I mean, that's understandable.
Yeah, there's also people out there saying that Edgar Allan Poe was the author of this, but it wasn't the same timeline. Like he wasn't. The research was done. There's other stories he uses these types of plot devices of cryptograms and stuff. He died in 1849, well before the papers were published. So it was 1885 they were published.
Yeah.
Unless he wrote this story and then sat on it.
I remember like didn't he die? I think he died under serious circumstances, didn't he?
The pamphlet also mentions the American Civil War, which started in 1861, after he died.
But again, like with the Beale thing, like it all just seemed very like convenient. At the same time, if you had that knowledge of where that amount of like wealth is like located,
not telling anybody, you got to pick it up,
right? But also, wouldn't you want to be aloof about that, or like you wouldn't want anyone to like actually know who you are, just enough that they trust you and like you.
But then
that way, like
it seems like it's
like he seems
convenient.
like a nice. That's the thing, though. Like, is it too convenient, or is he doing just enough to like keep people off of like who he actually is? The smart thing would be like not tell anybody about it.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're thinking something's going to happen to you, you might die. You trust somebody, get to your family, but like, why not tell your family about it in the first place?
Yeah,
it seems very beneficial to Morris, but at the same time, he
didn't benefit from it.
No,
but he may have benefited from the story, but like he waited too long.
Yeah.
Well, if he actually did pass it along, why?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, what did they get? And they didn't do anything with it either. They couldn't figure it out either.
Mm-mm.
There's a lot of stories. Like, again, we don't really go over too much details in these episodes because we don't want to take up
down,
15 hours. But anyway, there are other stories out there about different code breakers and things like that. But it seems, unless this popular mechanics thing is actually true, it seems like they've been found. But why wouldn't they just go and do it? It would probably be huge news.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's go back to the theories. Another theory is that it's a cryptographic challenge theory. This theory suggests the Beale ciphers were created as a cryptographic challenge rather than a map to actual treasure. Testing codebreaker skills similar to modern cryptographic challenges, the Beale ciphers could have been designed to test and improve codebreaking skills. The story of the treasure could have been an incentive to encourage participants in the challenge.
This would have been a modern fabrication?
I think it could have been like used, by the military. It could have been used.
But like when though? Like they're like more recent, like they're like, hey, this happened 100 years ago. Figured if you figure this out,
it could have been done back then because they still need code breakers and stuff and people.
Yeah.
They still need the military still need that type of stuff.
That's true.
And even more so back then because communications were so that they probably didn't even have those type of.
They did.
Like radio in 1800s?
Not radio, but like
they had the Morse code.
Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe.
All right. That makes sense.
That goes back to like we talked about the cicada thing.
Yeah.
The I love bees thing. There's a lot of examples of this out there.
Right.
All right, let's get into this theory that the treasure was stolen or moved. It was stolen or moved, but it is real. So someone got it already and didn't tell anybody. Because why would you tell anybody?
Yeah, I wouldn't.
Another theory posits that this treasure once existed, but has since been stolen, moved, or lost.
But it's the thing, if you did steal it, unless you stole it, just say you had it. Like, oh, I got the treasure.
No, you just stole and took the money.
But you have to eventually sell that gold, sell the silver, sell the jewels in order to get money, right?
There's plenty of people that do that for you.
Yeah.
Here's some gold.
That's a lot of gold.
Shut your mouth.
Unless you like spread it out over time.
Here's a chunk of gold. Take this gold and make sure no one and give me money for it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anybody's gonna take that deal. You can melt it down.
On a fence to do that.
Yeah.
You think you can do that long enough? Because you can't do it all at once. I would imagine, right?
I don't know, in the 1800s maybe. I don't know. I'm not really into the illicit gold moving markets.
It was like hundreds and hundreds of pounds of gold, 100 pounds of silver, $13,000 worth of jewels.
You don't have to do it over quickly. You can do it over time.
You'd have to do it over time, or else people would catch on. Like someone would come and rob you and be like, "Oh, you have all this gold."
Oh yeah, you'd have to.
You'd be very careful who you trust to sell that, or you sell it for you.
Maybe you'd have to do it all once so that no one murders you for the rest of it.
That's true.
Because
Yeah.
if you bring in a big chunk and they're like, "The hell? This is the third time you've been here in like the last 2 years." All right. So again, this theory says that the treasure was stolen or moved, but it was still real. According to this view, Beale's party may have successfully buried the treasure in Bedford County, but subsequent events such as the American Civil War or theft by opportunistic locals led to its removal.
Definitely possible.
Yeah, Civil War was after he buried it, right?
Yeah. 61 to 65. Also, like any one of the sides, Confederates or Union could have found that and like, hey, we're taking this.
Yeah, because there's like the Confederate gold stories.
Because we need this money. We need money to like
fund the war.
Yeah.
Because there was a lot of stories about like.
Do you think they would admit that doing that? Like, well, we still neither side would admit to stealing that.
But there's always stories about the Civil War gold and that people have found gold from that era.
Yeah, but that means that like no one at the time found it. But I'm saying someone at the time on either side of the war could have found it. Be like, oh, we found this gold.
Yeah.
We're going to tell them how we found it.
No,
but we just need money to fund.
Yeah,
we need resources. So
for this theory, there's supporting evidence that some local folklore suggests that Confederate soldiers may have looted the treasure during the Civil War. Given the area Where Beale allegedly buried the treasure was a site of some military activity. It's possible the treasure was discovered and removed. Some treasure hunters have claimed to find artifacts in the Bedford County area, though none have conclusively linked these to the Beale's treasure. However, no physical evidence or definitive proof has been uncovered to suggest the treasure was ever found or removed. Additionally, the timeline of the treasure's supposed burial in the early 1820s predates the Civil War by several decades, complicating the theory.
Unless it wasn't found until the Civil War.
Right. And that's John Thomas
Jonathan Taylor Thomas?
John Thomas, 1998. He wrote a piece called Confederate Gold in the Beale Ciphers.
Okay.
So that was his theory. Okay, so there's these two theories. One is that they were designed to be solved using a specific key text, but it just hasn't been found.
The key text itself?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's another theory that the ciphers were unsolvable gibberish. So we'll go into the first one, that they were designed to be solved with a key, specific key, and it was no one can find the key yet. The key is lost.
Yeah. So
even though they found the Declaration of Independence worked for the one,
right,
doesn't mean they
work for all of them.
Right. It didn't work for all the other ones, but also doesn't mean that may have just been one anomaly and the other two were completely different keys.
Yeah.
But not even like actual real stuff keys. It could just be the keys on their own. Especially like if it's the location, like the middle one, number 2, that was solved, the information is just like what's in it. So why would they care hiding that one?
Right. The location is more important. Do you think, I mean, I'm assuming people have already done this, but since the one key was the Declaration of Independence, you would possibly think that like it'd be another significant piece of history, or historical document.
Yeah.
I'm sure people already.
Like the Bible or something.
Yeah, already looked into that.
Yeah. But it'd be awesome if
Bill of Rights or,
something really stupid. Like it was like the menu from their favorite restaurant or something. So this theory that you need the specific key proposes that cipher 1 and 3 can be solved with this specific key, but you need it first, as we said. Even though the second one was Declaration of Independence. Seems very convenient. So the supporting evidence for this is that cipher 2 shows that the Beale ciphers found the book cipher format, as we said. If the correct text for cipher 1 or cipher 3 can be found, these ciphers might be solvable, but we don't know what the book is, what the actual piece of, like you said. Book ciphers are commonly used in the 19th century for encrypting sensitive information. It's possible that Beale and his associates used a text that has not been identified by modern cryptographers. Despite extensive efforts, and there's been a lot of people working on this still to this day, no one has found this paper, obviously, this cipher, or the key text. Researchers have tested a wide range of documents from the time period, but none have yielded a solution. Given the amount of time and expertise devoted to deciphering the ciphers, it seems unlikely the correct key text has been simply overlooked. So it might be that it actually is.
Yeah.
The key text, that you need the original key text.
Right.
And it's not going to be something common that we all have access to.
Well, what would it be? Like, what could it possibly be? I mean,
Smartly,
obviously anything, but like
Smartly is probably something.
How do you narrow that down?
Here's a piece of paper that I wrote this down on. The key text is this paper.
Yeah.
And if this guy was like, oh yeah, sure, put it in his pocket and then wash his pants, and they're never gonna be able to find it. The another theory is that the ciphers are just unsolvable crap, gibberish, that they're not real.
So wait, is this theory saying that the treasure might be real, but like this might be like a distraction?
This is a mislead.
Mislead, okay.
Yeah. Right. That the Declaration of Independence for number 2 was like real, and then it was also used as mislead to solve the other 2.
Okay.
So they're looking for documents instead of a key text.
Okay.
Or that they weren't actually anything and they were just used as like to mess with people.
Okay.
That this theory says that the codes are random strings of numbers meant to mislead. That they're spending a lot of time solving those and not actually to solve the real thing. So this theory posits that either the Beale, Ward, or unknown third party intentionally created cipher 1 and 3 as decoys with no solution. Maybe even Ward replaced them and has the real ones, or he had the real ones or something.
Okay.
supporting evidence for this is that cartographers have studied Cipher 1 and 3 and have pointed out that they do not exhibit a statistical thank you, statistical properties one would expect from a meaningful coded message. For instance, real ciphers often show patterns or frequencies that correspond to language structures, but these ciphers do not. So,
It's gibberish.
While Cipher 2 can be solved using Declaration of Independence, no key text has been found for the other ciphers. Some experts believe this inconsistency suggests that the other two ciphers were never meant to be solved.
Is it also like possible that the Declaration of Independence uses a key for Cipher 2 as a stretch? Like kind of like reaching?
I did see some research. I did see that, but I think it...
Like there might have been like the person doing it is like, this works. It has to work. I think I found something that kind of like pushed it to work because they wanted it to work. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So it's got to be like a possibility, or like people, when I brought that up.
Yes. And so I think the issue is that, yes, it could be true that there's kind of like some,
I don't know what the right word would be for that.
Kind of like liberties they took with it.
Yeah.
Like,
okay, that sounds right.
So it looks like they use a modified copy of the United States Declaration of Independence, but some editing is necessary. To decrypt it, one finds the words correspond to the number. First number is 115, and the 115th word in Declaration of Independence it's instituted. It takes the first letter of that word, in the case the I. Beale used a version of the Declaration of Independence that was slightly different from the original, and made the mistakes in numbering it to exact hidden message. The following modification had been applied to the original text. Okay, so that looks like they did move things around.
Okay.
But it still made sense.
Okay.
So like, for example, words 78 and 79 was self-evident, and it's hyphenated. Does that count?
Oh, right. Wasn't an issue...
They're counted as two words, not one.
Was an issue that came up when we were talking about the Zodiac? That's some deciphering stuff.
Yeah. Yes, I think that's just a common thing in cryptography, like where you can look at like the most common letters are the,
right.
and then figure it out from there. Or I.
Because it's a lot of times like a manifesto kind of thing.
There's been a lot of adjustments to the Declaration of Independence over the years. Like things changing, like unalienable and unalienable with you instead of an I or something.
Mm-hmm.
As an example. What if we find it? That'd be awesome. We're like, oh yeah, it's probably this garbage right here. It was a Macy's catalog from the Toys R Us catalog.
It was the directions to IKEA cabinet.
Yeah.
What?
Anyway, another theory. There's two more theories. Okay with that?
Mm-hmm.
Thanks. Number second, the Beale Ciphers are a hoax. So that we talked about this. They're elaborate hoax, possibly fabricated by Ward, James B. Ward, the guy who published the pamphlet, and some other guy, the unnamed guy, to sell pamphlets or create a local legend, right, to get people to come to the area. According to this view, the story of Thomas Beale and the buried treasure was invented to capitalize on public's fascination with adventure, hidden treasure, and cartography. Right? Cryptography. I see one saying cartography. That's when you draw maps, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. In the late 19th century, so they were trying to do that to raise, get people to come around.
I mean, it's definitely possible. It's
Evidence for this is that Ward published the Beale Papers in 1885 at a time when there was significant public interest in hidden treasure stories and codes. Some historians believe Ward may have fabricated the entire story to attract attention to sell his pamphlets. So like, the Reader's Digest, that type of thing. Some scholars have analyzed the writing styles of the letter attributed to Beale and Ward's own narration in the pamphlet. The two styles are strikingly similar, leading to speculation that Ward wrote both.
So Beale didn't even exist, according to this theory, maybe.
Right. And also, no treasure has been found. That's why they consider it a hoax. Because, you haven't found anything yet.
Yeah.
Until you find it, it's not real. But there's plenty of instances of that throughout history. I'm not going to go over them.
Sure.
Of like people saying, Can't find it, so it's not real. And then someone finds it, like, oh,
Yeah.
crap. So the challenge to that one would be that Cipher 2 can be solved using Declaration of Independence, suggests that at the very least some effort was made to create a legitimate code. So like he did the second cipher and was like, oh, this sucks.
This took forever.
Just randomize the other one.
1 and 3 are out there somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. Find the key.
Right. And this is going to be my last one. It's the treasure is real and the ciphers are authentic. One of the most straightforward explanations for this for this story is that the Beale papers is that it actually exists and the ciphers contain genuine information about the location. Proponents of this theory believe that Thomas Beale and his companions did indeed discover the gold and silver in the American West and then brought it back, just as described by James Ward in 1895. They argue that Beale buried the treasure in Bedford County, Virginia, and left behind 3 coded messages to ensure the recovery of its heirs. Okay, so obviously the supporting evidence is that the Declaration of Independence was the key for the second one, and if we can just find the other key, we can solve this whole thing. Right?
What to do?
The 19th century was a period of Western expansion in the United States, and many groups like the Beale Party were known to venture into the West and search for wealth through mining, fur trading, and other activities. So the timing of this expedition are consistent with historical events.
Yeah.
Again, the lack of concrete evidence really hurts this theory.
Yes.
And the unsolved ciphers. So that's our theories about the Beale papers, the Beale Cipher, some call it. A story, American gold story, treasure story. I'd love to know if there's like stories like this in other, I mean, sure there is, but like, I'd love to know those stories from like other parts of the world, like China, India, Japan, South America, these type of stories.
Right.
These little weird, almost like local folklore stories about gold and stuff.
Definitely got to be out there, right?
So what are you thinking? What do you think? What's your cipher here?
This whole thing is either totally bogus. It's definitely possible that like it was made to pamphlet was made to sell people on coming out to the West. Or then why mention Virginia if they want people to go out to the West? Maybe
they wanted people to come to Virginia.
Yeah,
because that's where the gold was buried. It was brought from the West.
Right, yeah. It was done as like a propaganda kind of thing. Or, I've already said this a few times, maybe there was something to this. Maybe this guy was part of some party that went out west and found something, found a vein of gold or silver or whatever. And over time, it just kind of kept blowing up, kept being exaggerated, became more and more of a myth. Maybe he told the purveyor of this hotel about it. It could have just been like a small amount of gold and silver or whatever. Again, it just got exaggerated over time. But why would that guy take advantage of that and wait 23 years to try and do something about it?
Well,
he was told 10 years.
He probably couldn't figure it out. Okay, so yeah, maybe he lied when he opened it, but 23 years, he's like, I can't solve this crap at all.
Yeah.
Like,
so yeah, maybe he has the gold and silver, maybe somewhere. I don't
know. There is a lot of like media about this story. Obviously, if you live in that area and you hear about this, that's probably if I was a kid, a kid in middle school,
I'd be looking for this all the time.
Yeah, it'd be like the only thing I did. Every summer, I'd be out just lost in the woods digging for crap.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of digs on the top of Porter's Mountain, and supposedly in the 1880s there was this dig on the top of Porter's Mountain in this county of Virginia. The landowner gave permission to the people to dig if they would split 50-50 whatever they find. However, the treasure hunters found only Civil War artifacts. The value of these artifacts paid for the time and equipment rental, so they broke even. So
he wants to go to Virginia anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah. it's like stories like these are just sound like too good to be true, kind of.
Yeah,
Like even with the
we should make our own.
We talked about you've done quite a few of these gold missing treasures, and like it sounds so fantastical, and like the sheer wealth is just like seems so crazy. But like, is that part of you just like, is it true though?
Yeah,
there's some truth to that.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like
risk it all and go.
People are still looking.
Yeah, like you said, but like there's times where people thought this is like certain cases like this are bogus, and like they find a golden owl.
Yeah, I mean, there's even a website called bealesolve.tripod.com, and it's like, here's the vault, and obviously the site looks garbage, but you can see like the Beale Ciphers were not a hoax. It's their tagline. Yeah, so like this is 2009.
Yeah, I was gonna say they need to update this.
Well, we're stealing my identity right now. But
we updated it a couple days ago.
No, I think that's current time.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, jeez. All right.
Or like in that wherever the site.
Yeah. Yep.
I guess. You see, this is the
no.
copyright.
That's the clock. Stupid. Oh, right. Okay.
He's like, "Where's the any key?"
I'm like, "Ask Jeeves."
Yeah.
Ask Jeeves, what day is it?
Yeah. Great. Really hitched my boat to a good old tugger here. Yeah. Okay.
What do you think, man?
Dude, I'm. It's probably not there.
No,
because if someone found it, they'd take it.
Right.
No one you know about it. You would never know that it existed unless you would dig that out in the middle of the night. It's probably, not as much as people think it is.
I do think, yeah, if it is real, I think it's not as much as people think it is. I think that's
or Civil War people found it. Just, the Confederacy found it.
But that's the thing, like, it's one thing if one person finds it, they can keep that secret.
Yeah.
Also, I mean,
once you add one or two people, forget it.
People start talking.
Yeah.
So if it's
that's why the biggest conspiracy theories fall apart, because people talk.
Yeah,
it's impossible to keep things a secret.
People that say the moon landing is fake, like how could that many people keep that
for that long
secret for that long?
Yeah.
A lot of people need to be involved in that. But the Confederacy finding it, I think that's a possibility, but we can use this money to keep funding our war efforts for like ammunition, food, rations, all that, whatever. But somebody's gonna talk. Someone's gonna know.
Yep.
It's an army.
Yeah.
Someone's gonna find out.
But also, people talk a lot in the army. They just okay, whatever. Jim Bob, whatever her name is, Jimmy Jim.
But all of a sudden we got new boots all of a sudden today. I don't know.
Or the person that owned the land just took them and was like, get the hell out of here.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think, why would you tell anybody? Why would you make a website about it if you knew what it was? Why would you write a book?
Yeah.
You'd probably just go start a company or something, filter it all that way. I don't know. Anyway, I think it's a fun thing to trick people with stuff like this. And I'd imagine, if I had to guess, the complete realistic person to me is that these guys made it up to sell pamphlets.
Yeah. Get people to come to town.
Or just to sell pamphlets. They're coming through. Buy this pamphlet. This is where the treasure is. Find this. Figure this out. It's such an easy story.
Yeah.
Let's say
get
the Declaration
rich,
of Independence.
buy this.
We solved with the Declaration of Independence. And we need help solving the rest. It's such an easy thing.
America?
Yeah. All right. Thank you, Jordan.
Hey, thanks, Chris.
Thanks for joining me
for this treasure hunt of an episode.
Yeah. This treasure of an episode.
Sure.
We already found it.
We didn't find it.
It's in our hearts. It's in each other. Anyway, thank you everybody out there. If you're listening or watching, go ahead and give us a follow or a like or whatever. Leave us a comment. Follow us on social media. Send us an email at mysteriousPalsOnline@gmail.com. You need links to all that stuff, including our social media. Go ahead and look down there in the show notes, or you can go to mysteriousPals.com and find us there. Until next time, Jordan.
Chris.
Thank you for being here.
Thanks, Chris.
I look forward to next week. Another great, fun, super happy, fun episode of the Mysterious Pals.
You just rolled your eyes.
Same mysterious time, same mysterious place.
Serious bells.
Thank you, and we'll see you next time. Good night.
Bye.